Hangzhou is the capital of Zhejiang Province, which lies in the east of China. It was selected as one of the top 10 happiest cities in China in 2020, thanks to its long history, beautiful landscapes, rich culture, and amazing development. Apart from being the only city to have won the honorary title for 14 consecutive years, Hangzhou also won the titles of the happiest city for entrepreneurs in China and the modern city in digital governance. These impressive results were achieved through Hangzhou's continued efforts to create a welcoming and enjoyable environment for its residents. Speaking of its long history, Hangzhou is one of the cradles of Chinese civilization and one of the 7 ancient capitals of China. The Kuahuqiao site, located in the city's Xiaoshan district, indicates that human activity took place on the site as early as 8,000 years ago. The Liangzhu culture, with a history of more than 5,000 years, is held as the dawn of civilization by historians. In the 9th year of the reign of Emperor Yang, the old Qiantang County was abolished and renamed Hangzhou, marking the first appearance of its current name. The change of dynasties brought about the blending of cultures. Hangzhou culture, represented by the landmarks of the city like the West Lake, the Grand Canal, and the Qiantang River, was formed by opening to the outside world and creation and innovations. It has thrived as it blended a variety of cultures together, including the Kuahuqiao culture, the Liangzhu culture, the Wuyue culture, and the Southern Song culture. Let's talk about the West Lake culture first. It covers a wide range of elements, such as landscape, gardening, religion, architecture, celebrities, folk customs, tea, and cuisine, which together reflect Hangzhou's harmony and elegance. The West Lake, surrounded by hills on 3 sides, boasts picturesque causeways, overlapping peaks, and scattering temples, pagodas, pavilions, gardens, and artificial islands. adds extra beauty to Hangzhou. It was inscribed by the UNESCO World Heritage Committee on the World Heritage List as a cultural property in Paris on June 24, 2011. Since the Southern Song Dynasty, 10 scenic spots have been identified as classic landscapes, which embody the ideal classic scenery and reflect a perfect integration between humans and nature. The Spring Dawn and Su Causeway is one of the most celebrated 10 views of the West Lake. Su refers to Su Dongpo, a famous poet and governor of Hangzhou in the Song Dynasty, who had the lake dredged and used the silt and debris to build a causeway. In order to honor Su, local people named the causeway after him. Today's causeway is a result of repeated reconstruction over the centuries. The 2.8-kilometer-long Su Causeway spans the West Lake from the Lanping Hill in the south to the Qixia Mountain in the north. When spring comes, willow trees swing slightly in the breeze. Peach trees are in full bloom, giving off intoxicating fragrance. At dawn, the lake is absolutely serene with reflections of the sky and bridges. Nothing but chirps of birds can be heard. Peach blossom looks like a smiling face. While walking on the causeway, you can appreciate the lake and the surrounding hills and enjoy all kinds of visual and auditory delights. Orioles singing in the willows, also one of 10 views of West Lake, was an imperial park during the Southern Song Dynasty. Today, the park covers an area of 21 hectares with luxuriant trees that have survived past dynasties standing along the winding riverbanks. Flowers in full blossom on the west lawn, ancient and poetic pavilions, flying birds, and verdant trees and grass all bring pleasure to people. The park serves as an ideal place for large-scale recreational and entertainment activities. The expansive lawn and large numbers of pavilions attract many people to do morning exercises there every day. Even in the evening, the landscape is impressive as well. In recent years, the city government has funded the construction of laser fountains and other facilities for night strolls in the summer and autumn. The park is also the ideal choice for various ceremonies and holiday celebrations. Apart from being known for its 10 views, the West Lake is also the birthplace of the famous Longjing tea culture. The Longjing tea is mainly produced in the mountains surrounding the West Lake. On the mountain called Mount Fenghuang, Longjing village stood hidden in the thick forest with mysterious springs. The ancients believed that there dwelt dragons as early as the Wu of 3 kingdoms. People came to pray for rain whenever there was a drought, as the dragon was said to be the god who controlled rainfall. In the Northern Song, an eminent monk lived as a hermit in the valley and built a Buddhist temple there. He made friends with a lot of men of letters, including Su Dongpo. To treat these friends, he planted tea trees on a plot of land around the temple and made tea for them. As time went by, the Longjing green tea became renowned during the period of Ming Dynasty. The recommended way of drinking tea is to put some dried tea leaves into a porcelain cup before pouring hot water into the cup. The Longjing tea is famous for its unique fragrance, leaf shape, and green color. The Longjing tea and the Hupao Spring supplement each other so well that they are held together as two superb specialties in Hangzhou. Visiting the Longjing village and sipping a cup of Longjing tea is a visual and auditory delight that no one could afford to miss. In the Qing dynasty, Emperor Qianlong visited the Longjing village and tasted the Longjing tea. He wrote some poems highly praising the tea and surrounding landscape. This appreciation from the imperial monarch greatly boosted the reputation of the Longjing tea, and since then it has become popular all over China. The tea picked between the Qingming Festival and the Guyu, namely from April 5th to 21st, is presumably of the highest quality. It is a great pleasure to visit the Longjing village during this period, as farmers are busy picking and processing tea leaves, which produce fragrance overflowing the village. You can see the farmers working hard, taste the first batch of the best tea in the spring, and ask about tea customs and anecdotes. Not far away from the beautiful Longjing village around the West Lake stands the China National Tea Museum, the only national museum focusing on tea and tea culture. It consists of two branches, Shuangfeng Branch and Longjing Branch, and covers a building area of 13,000 square meters. While performing multiple functions such as cultural display, education of the public, scientific research, academic exchange, tea art training, and conferences, the China National Tea Museum also serves as an exhibition center of the world tea culture and a tourist spot providing tea-focused interaction and experience. The Xiling Seal Engravers Society, beside the West Lake, is China's most influential research institute on seal engraving, a traditional Chinese art. During the dynasties of the Ming and Qing, Hangzhou was home to many celebrated masters of seal cutting. Seal making and relevant research flourished at that time, making seal engraving a popular art form and further promoting the establishment of the Xiling Seal Engravers Society in 1904. The society now is one of the oldest artisan groups in China. The society has made great achievements in the fields of artistic creation, academic research, cultural relic study and collection, publication, and cultural communication. It also plays an important role in preserving traditional culture. Now, the Xiling Seal Engravers Society has extended its influence on Japan, South Korea, North America, and Europe. As I just said, the arranging of Longjing tea is related to a monk and a temple. In fact, the West Lake culture is deeply integrated with Buddhist culture. Let's look at one of the most famous temples, the Liangzhu Temple. Located in the northwest part of the West Lake, the Liangzhu Temple is one of the oldest and most significant ancient Buddhist temples in China, and the largest temple in Hangzhou's Wuling Mountains. With its long history and charming scenery, the temple attracts thousands of visitors and Buddhists every day. Built in 326 AD, the Ling Temple is considered to be the most famous temple in Hangzhou. The temple is located at the west end of the West Lake and nestled between the Feilai Peak and the Beigao Peak. Today, the temple remains a poetic destination with a Zen mood, as shown by the giant trees, the old temple, and the ever-changing clouds and mist. Since its establishment, the Ling Temple has welcomed a constant stream of eminent monks and scholars to conduct cultural exchanges on Buddhist scriptures, arts, literature, calligraphy, Buddhism, and Taoism, which helped preserve its long-standing cultural heritage. Many precious historical relics, such as instruments, jingchuang, stone pagodas, imperial stone tablets, calligraphic works, and paintings are still kept in Ling Temple. After learning about the West Lake culture, we are now going to look at another representative culture of Hangzhou, the Grand Canal culture, which reflects Hangzhou's characteristics of openness and closeness to life. This culture features a blending of indigenous cultural elements related to water conservation, trade and commerce, local specialties, waterscapes, traditional Chinese operas, and temple fairs. Dating back to the 5th century BC, the Grand Canal is the longest artificial waterway in the world. The Beijing-Hangzhou Grand Canal passes through China's present 8 provinces and forms a vast inland waterway system in the northeastern and central eastern plains of China. It consists of 3 sections built in different periods, connecting Beijing and Hangzhou, linking the powerful northern and the fertile southern regions in ancient China. The canal has boosted the economy in the regions it ran through and facilitated cultural communications between northern and eastern China. You can get a glimpse of the creativity and wisdom of ancient Chinese. It was used for transportation for the first time in the Sui dynasty as a way to unify the country. It formed the backbone of the emperor's inland transportation system and was used to transport grain and strategic raw materials and supply rice to the people. By the 13th century, it has made up of artificial waterways of over 2,000 kilometers, linking China's 5 main river basins. It has played an important role in ensuring the country's economic prosperity and stability, and it is still a major mode of transportation today. In addition to the Grand Canal, Hangzhou's grand architectural culture can be traced back even earlier. The archaeological ruins of Liangzhu city outlines an early regional state with a unified belief system based on rice cultivation in the late Neolithic period in China. The Neolithic civilization was thought to last about 1,000 years until 4,300 years ago, according to archaeologists.
今天， 杭州市区西北20公里的余杭区良渚和平遥，是一处人口稠密的山间平原。5000年前，这里是一片河湖遍布的水乡泽国。良渚人来到这里，营建良渚古城。为防范洪水，良渚人在北部修筑山前长堤，在西南方向修筑平原堤坝，在西北方向修筑谷口高坝。长堤和水坝拦蓄洪水，为古城的营建做好准备。良渚古城位于水利系统东南方向，由一系列大大小小的人工台地构成，其中心是规模宏大的莫角山台地。莫角山西北方的反山是良渚时期的一处王陵。1986年，在反山土台西侧发现了11座良渚时期的王族墓葬，均为数学土坑墓，均随葬高等级玉器。良渚古城被一圈长达6000米的城墙包围，城墙呈圆角长方形，东北角和西南角分别是智山和凤山2座自然山体。良渚古城城墙墙体截面呈梯形，残存墙体最高处约4米，坡脚较缓，底部铺有淤泥和石块，上部是黄土墙体。城墙内外两侧均设有形似布头的墩台，这里坡脚极缓，相当于城墙伸向河边的码头，方便人员和物资往来。良渚时期尚未发明轮式车辆，加之古城建造于沼泽地区，水陆交通便是良渚人主要的通行方式。城内土墩林立，水道纵横，洲际穿梭，茅屋相望。古城南部一条东西向的主要水道，今天称为良渚港。历经5000年岁月变迁，这条河流仍然在这片土地上静静流淌。作为水路出入的通道，良渚古城的城墙共建有8座水门和1座陆地城门。水门就是城墙被河道隔开的地方，人员物资通过这里来往于城内城外。目前已知的良渚古城是一个具有宫殿区、内城、外城和外围水利系统的庞大都邑。古城中央宫殿区面积约39公顷，内城面积约280公顷，外城面积351公顷，外围水利系统影响的面积约100平方公里。据测算，仅建造古城和水利系统所需的土方量就有约1000万立方米。这一浩大工程，只有国家的力量才能完成。
Its core area covers 14.3 square kilometers in the northwest area of Hangzhou. Walls of the ruins were found in 2007, and its surrounding water conservancy system was discovered in 2015, both combining to unveil a massive infrastructure project, construction of which would require 4,000 people to work for a decade. As estimated by archaeologists, the archaeological ruins of Liangzhu city was included into the UNESCO World Heritage List in 2019. The site is composed of 4 areas: the area of Yaoshan site, the area of high dam at the mouth of the valley, the area of low dam on the plain, and the area of city site. These ruins are an outstanding example of early urban civilization expressed in earthen monuments, urban planning, a water conservation system, and a social hierarchy expressed in differentiated bureaus in cemeteries within the site. The site is also known for its abundance of jade artifacts, which shows a complicated ritual system and indicates a realm with a combined authority of deity and kinship. For example, the jade cong, a jade tube with a circular bore and square outer section, is the most typical type of artifact being unearthed in Liangzhu. The biggest jade cong, weighing 6.5 kilograms, was found in 1986 and often called the King of Cong. Now, I'd like to talk about Hangzhou cuisine, known as Hangbangcai in Chinese. Hangzhou dishes are mellow and slightly sweet, with an emphasis on local ingredients. Many of the most distinctive and representative dishes in Hangzhou use ingredients such as fish and shrimps. Instead of adding heavy seasoning, Hangzhou cuisine tends to make the most of various seasonal vegetables that are in plentiful supply in a city situated near mountains, lakes, and sea. For a first-time visitor to Hangzhou, here are some foods you should really try. The first dish is Western lake fish in vinegar gravy, a signature Hangzhou dish usually using grass carps as ingredients. The tender fish perfectly absorbs the slightly sweet and sour flavorings, which give it a delectable taste. The grass carp is first poached or steamed, and then drenched in a sauce comprised of vinegar, sugar, soy sauce, and other flavorings. The light flavors and relatively simple cooking methods allow the natural taste of the fish to shine. The second dish is stir-fried shrimps with Longjing tea, which combines the freshest lake shrimps with the Longjing tea, the most popular signature tea in Hangzhou. When it's served, the shrimps taste still quite tender with the scent of the Longjing tea. After eating it, a subtle fragrance will linger in your mouth. The dish is known as a treat not only for the palate, but also for the eyes due to its simple combination of elegant white and green colors. The third dish is beggar's chicken. It is a real challenge to prepare this dish, which involves stuffing a chicken with ingredients such as pork and mushrooms, wrapping it tightly in lotus leaves and clay, and then roasting it at a low flame for hours. This way, the chicken becomes tender and fragrant, with all its savory juices be preserved through slow cooking. Although many regions claim the fall of the bone chicken dish originated in their areas, most people attribute it to Hangzhou. There are many interesting legends about the arranging of this dish. A widely told tale goes that a beggar once stole a chicken but had no pot to cook it. So he covered it with clay and mud and put it in a fire plate, hoping it would get well cooked. When he came back, sure enough, the chicken was ready to eat. The next dish you should try is 片儿川, literally translated as floating pieces on the river. This dish features fresh local ingredients like bamboo shoots, which will be put atop the noodle and look like floating in the soup. It is a popular specialty of Hangzhou, and locals often sit on stools outside noodle shops and enjoy the piping hot, mouth-watering pearchuan. The last and most important dish is honey lotus root with sticky rice, a Hangzhou dessert. The dish perfectly combines crispy lotus roots, sticky rice, sweet honey, and fragrant smothers and offers a unique flavor. As you can see, religions, operas, silk, customs, tea, food, and other cultural forms are well blended in Hangzhou. The Ling Temple is quiet and dignified. The Xiling Seal Engravers Society is highly prestigious. The Grand Theatre is towering and shining. The Huqing Yutang Chinese Medicine Museum, the Silk Museum, and the Tea Museum all attract huge numbers of travelers. Traditional Hangzhou snacks and cuisine are enticing as ever. Famous universities such as Zhejiang University, China Academy of Art, and Hangzhou Normal University, together with many admission-free museums, cultural centers, and libraries, all add to the splendor of Hangzhou. With reputations as a land of fish and rice, the capital of silk, and the home to cultural relics, Hangzhou exemplifies the long-term, uninterrupted pattern of cultural involvement. Here, modern development coexists with heritage from thousands of years ago, and rich cultural connotations are intertwined with people's daily life. Finally, how can we not mention Hangzhou's thriving cultural creative industry? The economy in Hangzhou is driven by its passion for entrepreneurial activities. It is the host city of the International Cartoon and Animation Festival, the Westlake International Expo, and the World Leisure Expo. The China International Cartoon and Animation Festival, the only state-level professional cartoon and animation festival in the Chinese mainland, has been held annually in Hangzhou since 2005. At the film festival, you can see the blend of cultural creative industries and traditional culture. Many Chinese filmmakers will present a series of animated films and television series, which reflect their efforts to convey the universal values acceptable across the world and retell our own ancient legends and folk tales to international audience. Moreover, Chinese animation industry can seek inspiration from Chinese culture, which is actually the core and soul of Chinese animated films and television. More and more Chinese brands and images will be known to the world as the country's animation industry is making greater efforts to compete in the global market. The China International Cartoon and Animation Festival provides us with a valuable opportunity to discuss how Chinese animation professionals tell Chinese stories and how the international audiences understand and receive these Chinese stories. The beautiful land breeds good people, it is common now for drivers to stop for pedestrians and to zebra crossings. Specialty towns have their own characteristics. Various cultural centers have promoted the development and change of the royal areas. Hangzhou is building up an image of beautiful China as it strives to be worthy of the reputation of paradise on earth.